All right, what's up everybody? Today we're building a boat speaker, and it's gonna be a portable Bluetooth speaker that's relatively water resistant. I wouldn't say chunk it in the lake. I wouldn't say chunk any speaker in the lake, but you know, if you feel like you can do it, go for it. But anyways, it's gonna be water resistant for the most part. You know, if water gets sprayed on it or wet towels or whatever gets thrown on it, it'll do just fine. It's basically like the knockoff version of a Turtlebox. And one beautiful thing about this is if you build it, something breaks, you can literally open it up and replace the part that breaks. With this, you can replace it. So we're gonna get into it. Just follow along. I'll put a link in the description with all of the parts that I ordered and where I ordered them. Some of the stuff I got on Amazon, some of the stuff I went to Harbor Freight and got, and some of it I went to Built Not Bought Boombox. I'll put a link in the description for their stuff. This is one of the pieces. It's basically like this bracket. That way you don't have to grind off these pieces. They're kind of a pain to get ground off. And then also a box for the Bluetooth amp to mount in. But I'm gonna redo this box because I didn't have some of this stuff in time and I just built it. But this one sounds great. I actually have it on right now. I'll go ahead and turn it off. I'm gonna redo this one at some point and get some more components for it, but I'm gonna basically take the components out of this, put it in here, and we'll get rocking and rolling on this box. So we're gonna have a good boat speaker. I don't wanna drill holes in my boat. You know, I don't wanna pay several $100s for speakers and then have to go spend several hundred more dollars on an amp and then spend a ton of time trying to route the wires through the boat. I was like, let's just build this. I can have music that's loud enough. I'm not gonna be on a wake boat with super loud music surfing. I'm gonna be fishing, so this will do perfect for me. But yeah, so we'll get into the video now and start building. Y'all stay tuned. We're gonna piss the neighbors off in the process and the wife, so y'all stay tuned. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show the basics of the wiring outside of the box because I know sometimes it can be difficult to see all of it inside. So I have everything spread out. That way you can easily view it, see what needs to be tied together, and you can pause the video and then look at it and then kind of retrace your steps. So, all right, this is basically the whole wiring schematic minus the speakers, which those speaker wires go right here. And I'm just, for the purposes of basic wiring, this is what I'm going to show you. All right, so here we have our 12-volt charging port right there. See if it'll focus. Anywho, 12-volt charging port. You're going to have to drill a hole in the box for that. Those then go to these little connectors. They're on Amazon. I think they're like 14 bucks. Comes with a pack about this big. They're great. They're like little, I don't know. They're little connectors. That way you don't have to crimp. They stay secure. So the 12-volt charging port that's going to be drilled in the box is going to sit like this inside the box. This is going to hold the backing to hold it in place. Positive to positive, this wire then connects to the battery, and my battery had this already attached to it. That way you didn't have to like wire it in or splice them together. What I'll do is I'll put a link in the description for this battery, but this comes attached to the battery. It's a 24 volt, I think 2.5 amp hour battery. All right, so we got the charging squared away. All right, this is the main power source the power coming from the battery. So what I have, this actually comes with it too, this connector. So coming from the battery, we have negative, positive. What you do after that is you have your switch. So this is your on, off, power right here. I'll put a link for that as well. If you get the same brand, you can tape off the yellow because you don't use it. But power coming to this switch. I'll show you for purposes. Turn it on. Turns on. Okay, anyways. The green goes to the positive battery terminal. The black has a jumper. The black has its negative over here to this right here. This little jumper wire. The black from the switch goes to the black is right here. Black the switch, black right there. The red and blue go to the power. That then goes to this inline fuse that I have set up. I have the negative going to another negative, which I'll explain later. So this positive, red and blue, go to this red. The black from the switch goes to this. The black from the battery, the jumper, goes to here. And then it feeds to this black. Okay? Anyways. Now, let me fix my camera. Sorry, allergies are killing me today. All right, so we got the fuse. I just put a 10 amp. I don't know what it's gonna take to trip this thing, but I'm hoping this will protect this unit right here. All right, so we got all this basic squared away. So now from the switch, I have the positive to a fuse, the black to just basically this 1 to 2 connectors. Then, just to make it easy, this is a volt reader / charger. I'll show you. Red goes to positive, black goes to negative. This is wired on one of these two. So the negatives, the positives. So it doesn't get confusing. Right now we're showing 20.9 volts. You have a USB-C and a USB charging and a little cover. I don't think it's waterproof based on some of the online reviews, but it's water resistant at best. That way you can charge your phone or whatever else you need to charge out on the water, and you don't have to use that cigarette lighter in the boat that you know that piece of shit doesn't work. You got this thing. All right, cool. We got that. We know where one of these positives and one of these negatives go. Then the power that goes to the amplifier and to, in turn, the speakers has a little plug-in port right here. This is the ZK100-2T. For this video purpose, the other positive and negative that's not used for this feeds the amp. And so that's the basic wiring diagram for this. And you can troubleshoot too, because this one has a light on it. So if you look real closely, when I turn it on, when I turn the power on, see, this is turning on. So that's, you know, that's working, you know, that's getting power. And if this doesn't turn on, and you press the button, you'll know. So there's your power. That's the basic wiring of this. Another thing that I would mention too is to not use the Bluetooth. Do not use the speaker while you're charging it. I've heard that that can screw up the batteries or it can screw up the amp. So just don't. I've used I'm rebuilding this because I didn't like the way I cut some things out. So I'm rebuilding it in this box. I'm gonna build another speaker for my dad for Father's Day probably. But all right, all that being said, this is the basic wiring, and I tried to make it as simple as possible for everybody to follow. Maybe if for everybody to follow. All right. So I'm gonna step back and kind of get a overview shot That way, if you want to look at it again, you can. Pause it. I'm going to zoom in a little bit so you can see. But I hope I explained it. And that's the basics of it. Now we're going to get into the actual build. But I wanted everybody to be able to see the wiring because sometimes I know that can be confusing. I'm no electrician by any means. I know it's difficult for a lot of people, but this is so basic that anybody could do it. Anybody could figure it out if they really wanted to. So now we're going to get into building the actual box itself. So y'all stay tuned. We're going to get into that now. All right. So we got the box. We got this from Built Not Bought Boom Boxes, and we got this as well. I might use this in another video. This is basically just the cover for the amp that you can put together. This spacer is very important. What I noticed about building the orange one that I had over here, that one I used like a chisel because I don't have a Dremel right now to get out these raised pieces. Meanwhile, if you just get this kit fits the Apache 2800 perfectly. And they have other kits for other speakers like the kickers and all that stuff. But this kit fits well, and I'm gonna put silicone around it, and I'm gonna really do it right on this. Enough silicone, it'll fix anything. This will help keep it more soundproof. So we're gonna take some stuff apart. First thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get a Sharpie, and I'm gonna draw where I need to cut out. And the beautiful thing is this thing isn't sliding around. You can just cut it, draw. All right, cool. We got our template of what we need to do. That's gonna make it relatively easy. What I'm gonna do to get my jigsaw in there is I'm gonna start with this, just poke a little hole. Actually, sorry. Before I get started, let's take all this crap off that we don't need. Sometimes Harbor Freight will have these boxes on sale, sometimes they don't. I'm gonna take out the foam. Oh, this is actually a nice one, meant for guns. There's like little pieces, like squares you can cut out. That's nice. The other one didn't have that, so these must be the new year model. Yeah, because this is the other one. Actually, I did have that. We're gonna take out all this wonderful stuff right here. We gotta take this little clip off, this little air vent, whatever, because we're gonna be putting something there. So let's get this back in there. It's basically like a little C-clip. And I'm gonna get my pliers and just take it off. Yep, you can just pop it on the flathead, and it's this little clip right here. You can see that. You don't need it. You can unscrew this sucker right here. I'm gonna take the stickers off. I'm sure they won't come off easily. Chinese stickers, or I think they just do it because they don't like Americans. Let's make the shittiest sticker possible to where you can't get it off easily and it leaves residue. See, yep, they're like, all right, I hate America. I'm gonna make taking a sticker off a pain in the ass. All right, back to what we were doing. We're gonna get this right here. And this makes a fucking mess everywhere. Plastic everywhere. What I'm gonna do is use my shop vac later because I don't feel like screwing with it right now. I'm gonna move my speaker out of the line of fire because I don't want stuff to get down in it and it screw up the speaker. Oh yeah. Now we're gonna cut the hole. And I'm gonna put my handy dandy, if I can find them, my safety glasses. There they are. You don't want plastic in the eye. All right, cool. Good deal. And it makes a fucking mess because you guys are probably like, oh, you have two glasses. Look at all this shit. Imagine if this gets in your eyes. Not fun, dude. Not fun. All right. Good deal. So now we got this done. Let's put this sucker back on. Yeah, I mean, these basically line up. So, not terrible. I'm not mad at it. We can go ahead and just remove this for now. Remove the speaker. We know it'll fit in there. Should be fine. What I am gonna do is drill a little tiny pilot hole just so I'm not fighting with the screw and make sure it's in. Take that out. Make sure this bitch stays lined up. This last one right here. Cool. Cool beans. 5/30. 5/64. Sorry. I don't know where it stopped, but we were drilling this hole for said power button. All right, just a touch more. That's what I did last time, and it was way too much. Let's see. Let's go ahead and mock everything up. So this does go in a certain direction. I like having this clip up. Well, I can't see it. That clip right there where this plugs into, have this little piece sticking up. You see it right there? That little clip. All right. So you put that sucker in there, just like that. Dang, it's like really snug. I don't know if I'm gonna... Oh, I can thread it. That's cool, that's cool, that's cool. I'm gonna cinch it down this way. So you can see. I can't see. Basically like that. You just screw that plate on the side of it. Maybe you can see better. And what I'm doing now is just basically trying to tighten that nut around it. Yeah, that sucker's tight. Cool, 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 cool. Now what we're gonna do is all the wiring. I showed you guys how to do the wiring. That's the hard part. That's the important part. We got to put our charging block in over here. I got to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and take, let me just take this back out. Forgot what size this is, so. Got to drill another hole. Imagine that. Imagine that. I got to drill 2 more holes, actually. And what I think I'm also going to do, I'm going to put that big volt meter and charger on this side. I don't want to have too much stuff on just one side, you know. What do you think Harbor Freight has in these a piece? So I got the molds and all that done. What do you think? Like 5 cents? You think it costs more than that in material? How much do you think it cost? Because you know they're selling like a ton of these things. I always wonder that about companies too. Like they have loss leaders in stores, and then like they have items that make a killing. You know, like Waffle House, prime example. Waffles are like the cheapest thing in the world to make. I have yet to find my waffle, but I will at some point in time. I'll find it. I'm really hoping this video helps you guys though, because one, it's something to do, gets you out of the house, you're not sitting on your ass, gives you something cool to build, it's functional. You'll be able to enjoy it more, you know? Than the average Joe. All right, first things first, I'm the realist. No, I'm just kidding. What I need to do is I need to get this charging port. I want it on this side with the battery because I have the battery wired that way. I'm gonna do it like right here. So I'm just gonna drill it. Just be mindful. As that hole will get big in a hurry. See, like that looks, I know this is gonna be too small, but you know, it gets big in a hurry. Just gotta be super careful and check it a couple times, you know, so you don't over drill it. Or just a touch more. This piece on there. What's this washer? You know, you learn, you improvise, you adapt, you overcome. Put this screw back in there to basically get this in place. That's what's holding it. All right, so we got this. I'm gonna tighten it down just a hair. Perfect. We got our charging port right here. Cool. Good deal. Now, I know, I don't think I have a bit big enough for that. I wonder if it came with, yeah, it did. Let me figure out where I want this sucker. I think I do want it over here. So what I'll do is I'll mark it. So I gotta take your time, kids. So I need to cut that out. We can mount the rest, but I gotta cut that out. So we're gonna drill it. That looks center-ish to me. So close. All right. I'm gonna go ahead and put this here. Once I get this in, I'll drill it. And epoxy. Level schmevel. Pretty good. Should have put this backing plate on there. That's pretty good. Nice. Clean as a whistle. Looks good. On, off. Cool. That's not the on off for the whole thing. It's the on off for the charger and the volt reader. All right. Cool. Cool, 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 cool. All right, let's get all our cords organized. I did buy a bunch of zip ties at Harbor Freight. Don't tell my wife. Check out this big behemoth. 1,000 zip ties. So now what I'm gonna do is just kind of clean up some of these wires so they're just not rattling around everywhere. Well, let me get the rest of it in first and then we'll decide what to do. Would recommend getting like Velcro strip. I think this is like $12, 12 or 14 bucks on Amazon. So not bad, you know? I'm just gonna use a knife, a knife, cut both pieces. I'm gonna have extra, I'm gonna cut a couple. This is just the easiest way I've found to cut this stuff. I mean, you can use scissors, but I don't know where mine are at. I'm gonna cut 3 sets just for shits and giggles. Put this holder back on there, like so. We'll save that for another day. All right, let's get everything where we want it, and then we will go from there. So I got everything wired up. I showed you guys how to do the wiring. I had it like this, I believe. Yeah. Red to red, black And these are nice because you can take stuff apart and it's not, once it's, you know, once you crimp something, it's crimped. I mean, you're kind of out of luck at that point. Now, it keeps turning off. I'm hoping you guys can see this because I'm gonna be really pissed if I did all this for nothing. All right, maybe it got too hot. Anyways, what I did was got this mounted up. Everything works as it should. The only thing I got to do now is basically test fit for the speakers and the amp. I'm gonna go ahead and clean up this little wire right here. Make that a little bit cleaner. That way it's not all over the place. So I got these all together. Got these all together. The only thing left is hooking up the amp, which is right here. And then the speaker. Put that sucker back on. We'll hook up the wires in a second. Go ahead and just set this in here like this. Line up your holes. All right. Put this cover on. I'm gonna use a screwdriver because I don't want to spend money on speakers again if I'm gonna punch a hole through it. So I'm gonna use a short screwdriver at that. I might get them started and then change it up, but oops, see how crazy that is? You gotta get these suckers lined up. Snug these down just a touch more. I don't want to strip them, but make sure they're snug. All right. I decided to add this foam backing just to try to help some of the rattle from the wires. They said you don't have to use it, but people say a lot of things. They said you don't have to use it, but I still think it's a good idea to use it. I'm gonna put this back on. Wiggle it in there, wiggle it in there. All right, we should be good on that. Now I'm gonna put this harness back in. I gotta cut another piece. I believe it's gonna be this side. Yeah. So this is basically the wiring harness altogether. I'm going to get the battery in there first. Probably should have done that a little bit differently, but hey, whatever. Let's stick that right there. Let's do, oh, don't let those touch. Red to red. Black to black. Let's see if it turns on. Yep. All right. Good deal. So we got this mounted, that mounted. I'm gonna get some of these wires, like at least zip tied down in certain spots. This sound mat should help with that, but you know, we don't want it loud and annoying. So I'm gonna put one right here with this junction. And I think I got these at Home Depot. I'm sure you can get this on Amazon for like next to nothing. But it's just these little squares. And this just helps keep everything you know, out of the way. I'm gonna set it right there. Press it down. Then I'm gonna get my zip ties. I might need bigger ones for this, or I might not. Yeah, that's good enough. I'm gonna cut this. All right, got that one. I'm gonna do one. I don't like the way that looks, but it's what we got going right now. I'm gonna do one basically like right here. Same general spot. Punch that down. Get another zip tie, run it through the bottom. All right. So now I'm gonna put this piece back in. I just had to give it a little bit more deadening. So I'm gonna take this out. Put all this stuff back over here. Ooh. Bugs everywhere. Bugs everywhere. Fish out this. If I do say so myself, looks like a pretty nice speaker. Let's double, oh, yeah, it wouldn't work unless we hook up the said speaker wires. All right, the white with no stripe is positive. And so we're gonna do it like that. Like this. I'm gonna do one at a time underneath this bracket. And since this is a dual amp, you're gonna have to do it on one speaker positive and one speaker negative. I'm gonna do the inner channel. That's in. Let's do the negative now. All right, guys, we got the speaker built. It's siliconed. Got the silicone around the bracket, letting it cure. Works great. Power works. Voltage meter. Connects to Bluetooth. Got the power over here. Charging. So overall, I think it turned out great. Yeah, so I couldn't play like music that everybody knows and likes because copyright, and I don't want to get a strike, or also don't want to get the video demonetized if I get to that point. But yeah, it sounds awesome. So overall, would recommend doing this project. It's a pretty easy build. It's fun to do. Please like, subscribe. Let me know what you guys think of building it yourself. We'll be coming out with another boat video soon, so please please give this a watch, like, and appreciate it, guys. Stay tuned for more content.